and few seconds I'm taking to check if we are actually online. Because we have a very important topic for you today, and we are going to talk about relationships. Well, situationships. As long as our technology will allow us to go online, and I think we are online, so I can keep talking about this important matter. And finally, if you are there with us, if you get the notification and accidentally you are already here, please let us know that you are on the chat, or just say hello to us so we can see that we are online. Now, from the technology point of view, I see that we are. Now, let's see if you got this notification. So, today I would like to introduce you someone from Australia, and she's a specialist in law, but specific kind of law. It's a love lawyer, Tanya. Hi, Tanya. It's lovely
Hi,
to meet you.
and thank you for having me.
So, first, I encountered your video, like our lovely YouTube are always showing us like what could be interest. So the AI is speaking something what we are currently interested, and because I am always interested in relationships, and so some people on this channel, my audience, and people who are listening to us, your video popped up. Oh, hi, Marta. The first one, thank you for registering. That's so lovely. We do appreciate that because we are doing this for the first time live in English language. So the more of you writes in English, I would so much appreciate it. Probably Tanya too, because she could
Yes.
answer you directly if you have any questions. It's okay. So your video popped up, and there are plenty of videos. There are plenty relationship coaches. There are so many material out there. But
Mm.
the non-judgmental voice and the warmth in your voice, some sort of like you almost like a therapeutic, soothing people in this topic, so everybody can choose what they like, what they don't like. That really made me write you. So
Oh, thank you. Hmm.
yeah, so that's a number one. And today, first of all, I would like to ask you, like, what brought you to this topic, like your personal journey, that you even started to do this kind of law, and especially relationship, not any other kind of law. How you got here?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I stumbled into family law, which is dealing with divorces. So after I went to law school and, really was just working as a junior, and you do lots of different areas because you have to like do everything in order to become qualified. And I just found that yeah, I connected with the clients when I was doing family law. I really liked helping people. I found it a lot more interesting than just drafting contracts and whatever. So, yeah, I ended up deciding that was the area that I would pursue. And then I got a job after I got, qualified and admitted to practice at a specialist family law firm. And then I did family law since then. That was probably 2010.
Hmm.
And yeah, so since then, I've just only done separation, divorce, parenting stuff. So I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot.
That's what we're
Um,
gonna talk about. Yes.
yeah. And then I started talking about relationships online, like maybe 18 months ago or less than that. And yeah, I found I really enjoyed sort of the other side of it, the like before things get bad, maybe this is sort of some things to consider or to think about. And yeah, that's been interesting as well.
So, what
Yeah.
is the biggest, like the most common topics the couples are coming to you with? Some pattern, something that, or maybe something you really like to work on, or you can still mediate, or maybe you can save some marriages. Maybe that was just a misunderstanding. Who knows?
Oh gosh, I wish they would come to me when it was only just a misunderstanding. By the time they come to me, it's like nuclear fallout. There's a sorry, but like the biggest issues of, I mean, there's so many big things like infidelity, abuse, alcoholism, things like this that really. destroy families. But then also, I think just how people, I think like a really big theme is how people don't expect or understand how children will change the dynamics of their relationship and the way that they will like share the work there. Because I don't think even like if you've never had children, especially these days, we don't grow up in these big extended families. So many people are having children. They've never had children. They don't know how much work there is involved. And yeah, so you throw this into the mix, people, they're just not ready for it. Yeah. So this is a big problem for couples, I think.
That's an interesting thing what you're saying, because normally some women think that having a baby with a man will make him commit to the family and everything will be finally fine. But here you are saying that actually children are the reason of divorce. Is that correct?
Not that the children are the reason. I think that sounds bad, but children will make whatever problem you have in your relationship worse because they add an incredible amount of work and stress and everything to your life. And so all of the little problems that when you're 20 something and you don't have children and you're just two people living together working, it's very easy to sweep these little things under the rug. Oh, maybe he doesn't really cook. That's okay. He doesn't know how to do the laundry. No problem. I don't mind doing it. Like I like to. But then you have two kids, and suddenly he becomes a third kid. These things become a big problem. So it's like the little problems become big problems when you have children.
Hmm. So what is it's more women are coming than filing for the divorce or men? Who is more?
Um, yeah. So it is more women leaving the relationship, but it isn't like only women, and sometimes the women are leaving the relationship because like of things their husbands have done, like cheating on her, or sometimes the man will leave but he won't file the papers, like he will also leave that to his wife because she's always done the paperwork. So I've had that as well.
So he's
So yeah.
waiting for her to file the paperwork. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's right. He will move out, he'll have a girlfriend, and he
Oh
won't but he
boy.
won't do any of the paperwork. He'll just leave it to her.
So
So
basically, the woman with those kids and laundry and everything is left alone, and she realizes sooner or later that she was always alone. It's just after marriage, she's just more alone.
yeah, sometimes that is the way. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
And you mentioned also betrayals. How is that
mm.
going out? Like, is most of the cases women betray a man or the other way around? I suspect.
Yeah, most of the cases that I see is the man having an affair, but it's not always. That I've seen cases where it's the woman as well. And sometimes like I've known cases where like not in like my practice, but in my personal life where two parents have been having an affair at the school or whatever. So obviously they are both of them married and they're both having an affair.
Hmm.
So yeah, but the cases that I see, I would say more, yeah, there are more men that I see having affairs.
Indeed.
I feel bad saying this. I don't want to blame only the men, but yeah.
Uh-huh. The man is more. If they have both, let's say, sexual life on the side, then how they, when they divorce, they are blaming each other, or what is happening there?
Yeah, what do you mean like the person who was having the affair is blaming the other person, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, look, they're always blaming each other for everything. That's my experience. When they're going through a divorce, they're always blaming each other for everything. Everything is always the other person's fault.
So it sounds like two narcissistic people.
Maybe, yeah, maybe that is the problem. That is something I definitely see a lot of, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because it depends from what perspective they are talking. Do they use the communication I, like I feel
Mm.
unhappy, or it's him, it's her?
Yeah, no, you're right. There are always centering like what the other person has done to them
Yeah.
and not, I mean, like, look, to give credit, sometimes I have clients that are very good at introspection and saying,
Mhm.
like, oh, I did this and I can see where I went wrong. but most of the time their focus is on what the other person has done to them and how they are the victim. So yes, this is very much in keeping with how like narcissists will operate, but not all of them would be on the level of like narcissistic personality disorder, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. They're just operating from that place,
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah, that's very important because it looks like for those divorces, people have no consciousness at all if they cannot reflect about themselves and they're blaming the other person online
Yeah.
without saying, hey, I'm unhappy in this relationship. Let's talk to the counselor. Let's talk to someone. Then blaming each other is another way of, actually no lack of consciousness in this term. So they just were not really prepared. They just
Mm-hmm.
jump into water without knowing how to swim because we don't have a courses, marriage courses, right?
No, no, we don't.
Sure.
Yeah, that would be actually pretty helpful if people went through a process of some type of therapy or something to talk about these things before they got married. The best I've been able to come up with and what I have seen work is when people want to have a prenup, and I don't know if you have that in in
Yes,
Poland, but yes,
everywhere.
when they come together to discuss and the terms, it's like the first time that they've actually had these important conversations about like who's going to pay for things, what's going to happen after we have children, is one going to stay home, like what are we going to do, because these are things that you need to discuss in order to come up with, well, what would the plan be if you then get divorced.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this like when I see couples in that sense, and when we're negotiating a prenup, I think this is what all couples need to be doing, not for the prenup, but for the like the conversation that you have.
Yeah, because later on you don't have a guarantee the other person would like to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
They just leave with someone else and wanting to start fresh, whatever that means. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's easier, isn't it, than
Mhm.
dealing with the problems that you have.
Mhm. You mentioned something very important before we started, and I would like to gravitate slowly to that topic. So, did it ever happen that you had a couples that had a sort of open relationship, like polyamorous relationship, and they were bringing another people in the relationship, and well, eventually maybe it did not work out. They still need to get a divorce. Did you ever had
Um,
open?
yeah. So not openly because it's not allowed here, but I guess the law recognizes that a person, usually in this case it was a man, and the cases I've studied have always been men. But yes, so the law recognizes that a man could have like a legal wife, but then he could also have what we call a de facto partner, which is like not married, but like another form of marriage, like common law marriage sort of thing. And
Wow.
the law has recognized that, but it's not allowed legally, but it has recognized it for the purposes of, let's say, like if he dies, his will or his estate. So yes, I have seen cases like this, but from a divorce perspective, it gets very messy and complicated because if he has legally been married to one woman and so she's the wife, but then he has had this other relationship on the side,
Mhm.
which may or may not have been known to the wife the whole time, or sometimes it is eventually known. Maybe she accepts it, maybe she doesn't, but it becomes complicated in terms of like how you then split everything up.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. So
So
not we just talk about those materialistic point of view, how to split everything, But what about this emotional part?
yeah, well, I mean, I think that's more difficult, and I think the law doesn't then touch on this, but from what I have seen, I think um, like both women, at least from what I have observed, have been in a little bit of a, they reluctantly accept it. I've never seen a case where it was open from the beginning. I've
Mm.
only ever seen cases where it was hidden that he had two. women, let's say. And eventually it sort of became known and they kind of went along with it, if that makes sense, because it was easier for them at the time. Yeah. So I would assume then from an emotional perspective, this was very hard for them to accept. And I don't think that, like well, they weren't happy with it. So I don't know. Like he
Yeah.
might have been okay with it.
Yeah, it's an interesting tactic because if a man is not open straight from the beginning what he's doing and he knows
Mhm.
that the woman won't accept other relationships,
Yeah.
but then he pulls her into his life so much that she is dependent, whether
Yeah.
emotionally, with children, and she cannot just leave freely.
Mm.
So that's, I would say, very manipulative tactic because if
Yeah.
someone knows that he's polyamorous or doesn't want to commit, uh,
Yeah.
but wants to have a wife that is a servant because she takes care of the, everything in the house, because
Mm-hmm.
then of course, yeah, it is a lot about someone's character, of course. How are you working um, with those women, especially because you have to take into account all this emotional part? It is very, very difficult. So what's your advice to those women, or generally to warn women to not make this kind of mistakes?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I have to have a lot of empathy and not try to kind of think like, oh, well, that was stupid. Like, why didn't you just leave him, as soon as you found out, right? Because often, like you say, they're in situations where emotionally they're enmeshed. They don't necessarily have the finances to just leave. They don't want their children, to be like from a broken home or whatever it is that they feel. Sometimes there's religion as well, so there's many things that come into play. So just giving them the kind of understanding that, like, you're not stupid, you didn't do anything wrong. It was, he was the one who did it. Like you said, he manipulated you, put you in this situation.
Mm,
So you're like, the way you reacted to it is not wrong.
yeah.
And that, I think, giving like that, I guess that I hope that that makes them feel better, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. And I
Yeah.
see it in when I deal with women. It's the same with like victims of domestic violence. It's the same sort of approach where it's like, you feel like you're the one who did something wrong here, but you didn't do anything wrong.
Mhm.
And just giving them that reassurance.
Exactly. Is there a lot of blame? Like those women are blaming themselves for not being enough. Like one woman is not enough for him to stay, or
Yeah, I think part of that might be, like, they've never expressed that to me, but I think that probably would play into their mind. But I think most of them, when I have had these sort of situations, most of them blame themselves for not realizing it sooner, and then blame themselves for putting up with it for so long when
how
they
to
do.
realize? And that's an important question for all of us. But perhaps you found an answer already due to your work. How to realize soon enough with whom you are dealing with?
Yeah, that's a very difficult question. It depends what we're talking about, because the truth is, some people are deliberately manipulating and lying to you. So how do you realize this? It's, almost impossible if their goal is to lie to you and manipulate you, right? The best I've come up with is to be a very bad victim. That's what I call it. To be somebody who's not like easy to manipulate, who doesn't really necessarily believe everything that, someone tells you, who isn't, who's a little bit like emotionally independent, I like to call it, so that, because what they use is your feelings and your emotions and your empathy, and they pull on your heartstrings. This is how that they, manipulate you. So being bad, yes, not like being somebody who's just like a little bit, not like, it sounds bad, but like a little bit selfish with your emotional energy, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Not giving always 100% all of the time, everything, because that's what they want. They're looking for somebody who has a high empathy and low self esteem. So when you understand the victimology, you can kind of work on that. You can be like, okay, I have to boost my own self esteem. And then I have to be careful about who I give my empathy to, who I let into my heart, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Marta wrote us, and thank you for that comment. And please, if you are with us, please comment and send this video to someone who can also understand English, because it would be lovely to connect Polish English speaking people together, so you can have a little bit, we can have a little bit more understanding, bringing more culture aspect. We have those slight differences. So Marta wrote, or the worst when someone depends on happiness, um, own happiness on other partner actions instead of thinking their own happy place. And this,
Mm,
I will say, you on your channel, because Tanya has her channel, and look for Tanya Love Lawyer. That's her
yeah,
channel.
thank
And
you.
you are commenting on the TV show Sex and the City a lot. And there is this big story about Mr. Right, Mr. Big, Mr.
Mr. Big, yeah.
Big. So it's already in that description of a man, Mr. Right, that is something
Mm-hmm.
that the woman puts a lot of, pressure that this man will save her. And
Mm-hmm.
that is already a downfall in looking for a partner, don't you think? Because you very neutrally and calmly stated, like, Mr. Right is actually typical narcissist.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then that's exactly right. That it's like this is the fantasy that is sold to us that a man, a Prince Charming, he will come and he will save you, and then you will be happy. And I think it's
Exactly.
very important to, and like Marta was saying, to
Yes.
have your own happy place, to cultivate your own happiness. Because I always say, like, a happy marriage, it's two happy people who build a happy marriage. You can't be not happy in your life and then think, oh, I'm going to get married and now I'm going to be happy. You
Thank you.
have to be somebody who is happy in your life first. And whether or not you're married. And then if you get married and like someone said, okay, well, don't get married in the first place. Well, again, that's the same thing. It's like the avoidance of getting married is not going to make you any happier than the getting married. You just focus on just being happy and, do the things that will bring you joy. And then, yes, if you can share that with somebody, that can be beautiful, but you don't need that.
Yeah, to come to the point when you don't need other people for your happiness. We are social creatures, so every now and then, even most independent person needs some sort of a company, also this interaction. And there is such a difference in a different culture to approach to the sexual part. Because if people are alone in the society, and according to different culture, whether people stay alone, they withdraw from sex, or
Hmm.
other culture, they do not combine sex technically with relationships. So what is
Mm-mm.
your experience here when you talk to the couples, or maybe women, because you're also answering a lot of questions from women who are not married but would like to, or would like to have a tips what to pay attention to, how in early stages also to find out what they want, with whom they want. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, if we're talking about, okay, and I'm sorry, I might have missed the
I
question.
asked
So
you
we're
so
talking
many
about,
questions, so
yeah.
sorry about it.
So in terms of like the relationship and then the like physical aspect, I think if you're looking for a serious relationship, put off the physical initially to get a sense of who this person is. And, so you can get to know each other, because once the physical happens, there's all kinds of hormones and things that they cloud your judgment. You can't really see who they are. So yeah, it's good to get to know them first in a like non-physical sense. So you spend
Yeah.
time together, doing activities together, this, that, the other. But if you're not looking for something serious, and just the physical, then that's fine. That's okay too. Like, I don't judge that if that's what people want to do, as long as they're open about it, honest about it, I guess.
Yeah, I think the thing you said right now, the most that is talking to me is be honest about it with
Mm,
yourself. What are you looking for? Uh,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Because
And women, sorry, go on.
no, no, sorry. After
Oh,
sex, you mentioned that any kind of things can happen. People may fall in love, especially women. The oxytocin and the hormone
mm-hmm,
is released, and then we get more attached. But it's not also necessary. It could be also for the purpose of the experience.
mm-hmm,
So now, if a woman, let's say, it's from the Catholic family, she never even, had, maybe she's a virgin, who knows, and then suddenly she's in this situation when she's married. Uh,
mm.
she has kids, maybe not, and she's completely dissatisfied. Did you ever had those kind of divorces when the reason was lack of sexual compatibility, or woman was extremely unhappy, or
Yeah, well, they've never told me that. That's
oh,
so
okay, yeah, sure,
yeah, they've never, and I think it's probably, I assume, because there's probably a lot of shame and stigma
yeah,
attached to these things, and especially if she grew up religious, it would almost be like, what, you know what I mean? Like, I could understand a very big crisis of faith, in a sense, to be like, like, I'm leaving my marriage because the I'm not satisfied physically, when that is so much stigmatized in
yeah.
religion. So they've never openly told me this, but I have no doubt that's probably something that's played a part. Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. Now let's talk about this polyamory. So, what do you think about this concept? It's so huge. Like, we are living this society, and here also Jacek, thank you for the comment. He said like it's better not to marry, and women thinking this way too. That it's better not to marry. We have this concept of polyamory, like you can be more free in the experience. So what is this institution of marriage, and for why polyamory? What is your
Yeah.
what do you think?
I don't know. I think it would be very difficult. I don't judge people if that's what they want to do, but I can understand why people think it will be easier to manage multiple partners. They can't even manage one partner.
Thank you.
It's, I think then that polyamory as well is very different to casual hookups. Like, if you're just casually, there's no relationship there, so it doesn't matter. But to me, at least, polyamory implies that you're going to try to have a more of a connection with each person. I would find that very I don't know, very difficult and very draining. And to some extent, and just like, the other thing about it is that it plays into a little bit like hoarding of resources, if that makes sense. It sounds bad because I don't like to think of women as resources, but historically, that's what polyamory
That's
was. It
yeah.
was the powerful and wealthy men who hoarded all the women.
Yes, and
you
the
know
resources actually, yes, you're right about that. Yeah. Hmm.
so I don't know, like, why we want to go back to that.
So, I recently heard a few psychics that they have this new seeing, and we are going to gravitate a little bit to this case of Aubrey Marcus, who also had a vision in Egypt, and he has a wife, but apparently
Hmm.
another one, calling it radical monogamy. And he
Right.
had a vision that he needs to have babies with both of the women, and the visions of the psychics I encountered, it was about that some of the men will be so powerful that they can accommodate with their energy multiple women. And because they
Hmm.
have access to my personal incarnations and other people's incarnations when I'm reading tarot, we already had that in history, and usually those big men, they were actually draining energy from those women to be so
Hmm.
powerful. It was not the other way around. That's
Yeah, that makes
clear.
sense.
What do you think about this case of this polyamory, this case of Marcus, that the god told him, or goddess, whoever told him in Egypt, and the women who are in the relationship, they are married, and all of a sudden there is this concept, yeah, honey, I had this vision, and will you follow me? Would you believe that woman? Because for me it's very hard to believe that Viliana is her name. It's very
Mm.
hard she's to believe, for me personally, because I had this
Yeah.
experience, and I remember, and I have other women dealing with. So for me, it doesn't matter how happy face she's gonna make, how many lovers she's gonna have now. I don't believe
Mm-hmm.
a woman can be happy. What do you think?
No. Yeah, no, I agree. I would have a difficult time believing that as well. And I think that visions and these sort of prophetic things have often been used as a either a justification or a tool to kind of implement, let's say, things that maybe other people wouldn't have accepted in other circumstances. But because it was some sort of prophetic vision, it gives it this kind of clout like, oh, well, we should probably do that then because God or someone else has
God
told you
wants.
this is the path, right? And so then it will be a way for them to convince whoever that to go along with it. And I wouldn't just blindly follow these things
Yeah.
myself. Even if I had the vision myself, I'd probably still be like, yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm gonna have to think about that.
That's a good
You know.
approach to vision. I always say that don't believe everything you see and hear,
Yeah.
because you don't know what kind of entity and with what intentions is actually
Hmm.
telling you that. Uh,
Yeah, that's right.
mhm.
Yeah, I follow this medium. She does these readings in houses, and
Mhm.
she always has this disclaimer at the beginning that just because she sees something or hears something, that doesn't mean it's true because, spirits and entities and stuff can tell you lies as well. They can show you things that aren't true. They can, yeah, they just like we are not always honest, like they are not always honest as well. So
Yeah,
I was like, well, that's interesting. I'd never heard someone say that, but it makes sense.
it makes a lot of sense, especially, I had a one client and he had multiple connections, let's say, or situationships. And in the tarot, he just wanted another woman, and he wanted me to read if that woman will be also his in this, let's say, harem on women. And I said no. But then in the cards, he also the cards also showed me why he's doing that, because he's very well financially. So somehow, some people can do it. It's sort of a black magic, a black sexual magic, um,
Hmm.
that he was drawing energy from those women in order to make more money. It's pretty interesting what came out.
I think that that actually is a thing. I do think that men,
Hmm.
and this is just like what I see manifest in divorce, that men who have a female partner, like a wife or a long term serious girlfriend, whatever, they always do better in their careers, they're healthier, they're making more money. And I genuinely believe that there is something there, like the energy that they will, that they, it's almost like they need this
Hmm.
to fuel them. And the problem happens when it's not being reciprocated, when they are not refilling her tank. When
Yeah,
they're just take, take, take,
yeah,
they give nothing. And then they think it was all them. They did everything. She
yeah.
didn't do anything. She was the one who was just like using me. But when I perceive it, the situation, I'm like, it sounds like you're projecting because it sounds more like you were the one who was using her labor, her time, her energy, so that you could focus 100% on this
Yeah.
business, this project, whatever. And she was there supporting, like when you were stressed, helping you regulate your emotions, all of this. And then you're like, oh, she's just using me. She just wants my money.
A good one. Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I think that that's a real thing.
Yeah, it's interesting because we have this different perspective. You are very much into law. It's something that is with facts, with what is really happening. You have to differentiate here. I have this
Mm,
theoretical approach, but what combines us is this psychological approach. When
mm,
psychology also doesn't lie, and these are also facts.
mm,
But what you're saying from your psychological perspective, it really just confirms everything what's happening on an energetic level, because we do say that male and female, they have to be in the right constellation and
mm,
so yes, she's complementing a man, the man is complementing her. But where that energy gets abused, this is
mm,
where the problem arises. And we are not taught how to make it work. So of course we don't see because it's invisible. It's not something you can see.
Yeah.
So people and probably lost that knowledge and they cannot learn it. How does it work? And then take it for granted.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's right.
Uh,
You
I,
know.
mhm. I always teach the women to withdraw their energy. If they feel like they gave it too much, they have to withdraw.
Mm-hmm.
And just because the men will come for more, because they always do, it doesn't mean he loves them. It means they won't supply. Usually, what it
Yeah.
means.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
And that's what I was saying with that Sex and the City video. That's what Mr. Big was. He was an energy vampire. He was there taking for himself all of her energy because he needed that. And he probably had many other women he was doing that to as well.
right, because this is also what women don't see. You know, you also commented on the book that I really wanted to read. I didn't read it yet because it came when I had to leave and travel. So it's waiting for me. This Laws of Relationships. And I forgot the author. You probably will find out who I'm talking about. But you were also doing a great review on that book. And the rule that really drew my attention, it was to stay sexually away from a man you want for your husband for 6 weeks.
Okay.
Remember
Was
that?
that from the rules?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rules, the rules.
Yes,
Yeah, it is like a
yes.
big thing in America right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm thinking, is that the true? Because here Marta asked me a question, and this is the question for both of us, I suppose. Joanna, would you agree that sexual relationship is energetic sense equal to marriage? I will probably do a separate video about it because I can talk too much about it right now, but we
Okay.
have that in a conversation um,
Okay.
a little bit. But what do you think about that rule, Tanya, that, to keep men away for 6 weeks? Because I was thinking about it. And first,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's what you said. Going too fast,
Mm-hmm.
you as a woman may not think clearly afterwards, even if, especially when you fall in love. And
Yeah.
women are less likely to make this casual experience because of taboo, because of society. So then she has
Yes.
only one man. She has
Mm-hmm.
no differentiation whatsoever. She doesn't
Yeah.
know what she likes. She's not awakened sexually. And she puts everything, all the emotion into one man instead of making
Yes.
her experience. So
Yes.
now, when the man is um, just liking her, or is a narcissist, or is a vampire,
Yeah.
just because she's going to wait 6 weeks, it doesn't mean he's not going to sleep several times a week with other women, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how
Yeah.
does it work, that role? What do you think?
I think it's a good rule. I would say that's a minimum. Like I would say 6 weeks,
Ah,
maybe 12 weeks. Why not? Because you can be very clear-headed and spend a lot of time with this person in lots of different circumstances outside of the bedroom. Because if you're looking for a partner, more than just a sexual partner, like a real life partner, you want to see how you will get along, how will you work together, how are they with other people, um,
yes.
yeah, what kind of person are they? And I think, like what you said, women can get very attached, and then what happens is they are very invested in making this work. They're not very quick to walk away, partially because of the taboo, partially because, now they're attached, all of that. And so they will overlook and explain away all of the problems that they would otherwise not have put up with if they hadn't been sleeping with him.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good rule for something like if you're looking for something serious. It's not because like, oh, he will respect you more or this, that, the other, like, oh, you know what I mean? It's for you, it's for your own say, emotional and energetic safety, to preserve, I suppose, like, yeah, yourself before you commit to somebody. And that's different than if you're wanting to have casual experiences, if you're wanting to you know, do whatever else you want. That's different. But if you're looking for something serious, I think it's better to, yeah, keep a little bit like that arm's length at the beginning just to see, like, and also, is he serious about you? Because no man is going to be like dating you, spending time with you, going out if all he wants to do is jump into bed.
Yeah,
You know,
he's gonna
he
have
can just do
like
that. Like,
yeah, he's just
yeah,
gonna go somewhere else eventually after a week
yeah,
or two.
yeah,
Yeah, that could be also a good reason. But as you said, it's more for a woman to get clear and to really know what she's dealing with. I know very little actually relationships that worked for a while. Um, when people jumped into bed one another and they say, "Oh, that's just for experience," but
yeah,
the energy was so strong they actually landed in a long term, like for years, relationships.
yeah. That
And
can work. That can happen.
that can probably it's maybe exception of that rule, but it's very rare, I think.
Yeah, and look, that can happen, but I think it's yeah, it's just like a lot of factors can come together
Yeah.
and this can be the outcome, but then also like you have no idea going in what the outcome will be. So it's like rolling a dice, and if you're willing to do that, that's fine as long as you accept that like 9 times out of 10 this will be a different
Exactly,
outcome.
it's
And that's
gonna be
okay.
one in a lifetime actually, or never for a one.
Yeah, or never. That's right.
Yeah.
But you know, like some people are okay with that. You saw that in Sex and the City as well with Samantha. This was her character. She just jumped into this bed, this bed, this bed.
Right.
And one time she
She just,
landed on a good guy. She didn't,
yeah.
that's not what she was looking for
Yeah.
and is not what she expected. But, you know, that's what happened.
Yeah, so that's the case that it can happen. It's like the rules are good in a
Mm.
sense for our own clarity, but it's not like prescription for the stable relationship, because if you keep someone for 6 weeks or longer and that's a narcissist, and we know that psychopaths, narcissists, they can play very well, they can be good guys. And this is actually what a
Hmm.
friend of mine told me, that a man was very much into marriage, was posting a wonderful Facebook picture with someone, going for dinners with her, but every night almost he was sleeping with somebody else.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, and just my friend find out accidentally, but it wasn't something that that they can play so well. So this 6 weeks, if the woman, like, what the woman should look for during that period of time to know that it's not a psychopath, not
Yeah.
a narcissist. What do you
The
think?
best, honestly, the best way to weed out the narcissist and the psychopath is to say no to them. To be a little bit inconvenient, that's what we say. Because they don't like that. They always want to be in control. And when you are difficult to control, when it's like they call you and they can't reach you. They want to see you tomorrow, but you're always busy. You know, when it's like they always have to fit into your schedule and not the other way around, this will throw them off. They will not like you. They will try to blame you for the fact that, you know, they don't like you. But if you are strong in yourself and you know, like, no, 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 you know, I'm not being unreasonable because I have plans tomorrow and I'm not going to cancel them for you. They will leave. They will like weed themselves out
Right.
most of the time, unless they are very, very committed to wanting to manipulate you specifically.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they're looking for somebody who's much easier to manipulate and control and be that way. So most of the time, they will just be like, oh, you know, she's too difficult. I don't want to have to deal with her. And they will find somebody who's a lot more, you know, I hate to use the word desperate, but this energy of like, yes, I will do whatever you want me to do because I like you so much at the beginning, like early on, you know, this is what they're looking for. So be the one who's more difficult. And actually, in the rules, they have this as well. Like,
Be
oh, you know, you
happy.
don't accept last minute dates. He
Yeah.
has to plan for Saturday, like by Wednesday. These sorts of things,
Mhm.
actually, the narcissists, they hate that. The controlling men, they hate that.
It's also good for everyone to check, to be difficult, to be heavy, like like difficult. There is this word, um, also in a Spanish culture. I notice when someone is like that, they call it pesada, like someone heavy, like you
Oh,
heavy.
really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
I also didn't know that. I learned my lessons here, and also I met with someone like that. Like I was blamed pretty recently for being free, too free. And like this could be a problem also for a man because you are too free. You are
Mm.
not be um, managed. Man,
Oh, right. Yes, I see what you mean.
and
There's
that's
too much
the
of a free spirit.
yeah. There is a specific word that I heard, and when someone is using the word, you are manageable. You are
Mm-hmm.
managed. That's already doesn't sound right to me. I don't know.
No.
Maybe in English there
Y-
is a different connotation, and I'm Polish.
yes.
But what do you think about that?
No, I think that that's right. They are looking for somebody who is easy to manage. And I think, like, although it doesn't, we might not use it in that context, that's exactly correct. So when you are difficult to manage for whatever reason, um, yeah, they don't like that. But that's a good thing. And I think sometimes it's often sold to us as it's a bad thing, like, oh, it's a problem because you'll never find a man. And I trying to teach women, like, no, it's actually a good thing because the men that you won't find are the ones who are going to use and abuse you because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for someone who's easy to manage, who's going to be soft hearted and empathetic and malleable. Malleable, perhaps, is the word,
Mm.
so that they can make her do what they want. And they don't like it when you have boundaries, when you have reasonable expectations, when you won't just say yes to whatever they think. This is a problem for them. So,
So that's a good one. I hope whoever is listening to us that you take the best out of this video and please forward our words to anyone who actually may be in need or needs some clarity about their relationship because all of us we were in the situations like that. Some of us longer time, some of us years, some of us shorter period of time, but also you have friends who are probably coming to you with similar sort of issues, and it's very hard for them to get released from the bounds, emotional bounds, and they need some sort of friendship assistance. It's not like they always will come to a lawyer, to you, to or to anyone like reading cards. But if you are a friend and you can benefit from this video, you have some sort of tools that you can also be on the right side with your friend. That if you say like just leave him, just leave her, it's not going to work most of the times because
yeah.
those manipulators, they invested time to make you addicted. It's like sort of sometimes I'm comparing this to sort of the woman because of her lack of confidence,
Mm-hmm.
her being too kind, not being learned how to keep her boundaries. She's becoming addicted on that man because he's providing
Yes.
her also boosts every now and then.
Yeah.
You're so beautiful,
Yes.
but you shouldn't do this and this and this and this, and the list follows, right?
Yes, yes, it's exactly like an addiction. This is so true. I've noticed this with clients. That's why it's so difficult for women to leave even very dangerous situations because they are emotionally addicted because he has broken them down so much. He's already taken someone who had, let's say, shaky self esteem, broke her down so
Yeah.
that she really does not have any self esteem. And the only source of comfort or esteem boost is him, and he can take and give that as he desires, and so he is the one 100% in control, and he will use that as a tool. He will, and it's not always like these relationships are not always every day bad, and that's what I think people don't understand. It can be good, good, good. He will like pour into her, love bomb her, and then he will pull the rug out from under her and make her feel like worthless, and then he will give her a little bit more, and then he will, you know what I mean? So it's like give, take, and it's
Push,
very damaging.
push the techniques, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
People describing now so often. That is so dangerous, and especially if this is psychologically, this is very dangerous. Like with people, women who don't have this self confidence. What I discovered when people have this karmic connections, like they meet the same partner over and over, that's
Yes.
even worse. That's even
That's
worse.
sorry.
That's
Oh,
even
even
worse.
worse.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
because they start to remember and they repeat those patterns for centuries. And
Yeah.
sometimes they do remember. They have like glimpses of the same phrases, and they think that like it's coming in their dreams. They lose mind almost, and this is like very hard to find out what's happening and to solve it. So did you ever had clients maybe like that, like the woman was completely like she knew that this is not supposed to happen, but that was her one and only husband, like forever? What would you say to a woman that is coming to you? She had only done one husband, and that was the right one, and she maybe she had casual relationships before, but that was like she could tell you like she remembers incarnations with this particular person, and she never in her, you know, eternity, let's say, met
Mm-hmm.
anyone else, and she is ready to even explain his bad behavior. Maybe he's possessed, whatever he's the issue, maybe he has problems.
Yeah.
What would you say to women like that? Like they completely cannot break that circle, and they are convinced that okay, that's the one and the only husband, and she would never be able to find anyone else.
Yeah, sometimes, and I don't know if I'm right about this, but sometimes I believe that our karmic connections are not only things that we're meant to accept, but things that we're meant to learn from. And if you keep having the same connection in every life, it's probably because you haven't yet learned the lesson. And the only way that you will break out of the cycle is to learn the lesson and to act on it. And then you can, I suppose, start a new karmic cycle. But this is what I believe, that
Mhm.
yes, you have strong connections with people and you might have met them in another life or whatever. But that doesn't mean that they're a good person. That might mean that they are going to teach you a very difficult lesson. And if you want to break out of that and not live this forever and in the next life and in the next life, your job should be to try to learn the lesson.
Now we need to ask, we need to elaborate slightly what that lesson would be, because just yesterday I met a very kind man, and he was telling me about his relationship with the woman that is impulsive, yelling at him, but he's dependent on her. You know, many people in Spain, they come from different countries, and not always they have papers, so
Mm,
they are dependent. We have a lot of situation, you know, opposite, like women is dependent financially on men, but every
yeah.
now and then I meet this man that is exactly in the situation like most of the women, so dependent in a certain
Mm-hmm.
way, whether papers, whether, you know, another way, on the woman that is very impulsive, very aggressive, and says that okay, she's a girlfriend, but it's really like you can sense it the way the man is so kind. He has
Mm-hmm.
not even slightest sense of aggressiveness in him. And anytime I see that, I'm thinking that the lesson is actually he has to get in touch with his aggressive and settling firmly boundary side. What do you think is the lesson here?
Yeah, I agree. I think it is connecting with, I hate to say, like the masculine in his case, like in that example. But yeah, there is a certain energy there that he would need to like tap into to be able to be assertive, to have boundaries, to be independent as well. I know like his circumstances might not allow it, but this can be the lesson that, your independence, whether it's financial, emotional, whatever, this is the most important thing. And this should always be your goal, to try to, like as much as we want to have connections with people, to always try to be able to stand on your own 2 feet instead of leaning too much on somebody else, because then you give them all the power. And then your coping mechanism might be that you are too kind and too accommodating, because you have to be, because you don't have the capacity to stand on your own and to walk away. So
Yeah,
that would be, I think, like the lesson. And that should be then, okay, well, how will you then start to work towards becoming more independent and being able to detach from this person that is hurting you? Because, yeah, you don't want to have to put up with that forever.
exactly. Just to make sure that we are telling you all of the information and also how to find us, because you probably, if you listen to this, you already know where my channel is. Tanya has her channel, Tanya Love Lawyer. That's our channel. And I will put the links. I'm saying that one more time for everyone. And considering everything what we are talking here, the big conclusion of that is to also get educated, get your education,
Mhm.
read, talk to people, but also have a strong circle of friends. And also in the time that are coming, and also not everyone can sometimes get an individual session due to different reasons. Sometimes it's also different country. Tanya is in Australia, and most of the times you can reach her there if you live there.
Mhm.
But also, if you have a question, you can write us. And we also, I think Tanya too, because I started a community about relationship to support women, but not only women, because there are men also that need this masculine power to be real and also how to act. So if you are interested also in that, let us know. And also there is a group of Telegram, and it's called about apartments. So if you do want to experience, get out of your role, and you don't want to use this Airbnb, because we know economically what's happening right now everywhere.
Mhm.
You can use that group to exchange, swap apartments, get to know each other. Because in the community, if we don't know each other in the small communities, we probably gonna have the harder way. Because in fact, nobody is teaching us about relationships, about the proper way of educating. Everything is taken over through corporations that are focused most of the times on money, and also only this exclusive amount of people, they have their luxury. So we need to create our own network of the trust, the exchanging, finding out. Also about the products. I don't know if you, Tanya, has have any products that you would like to recommend. But sometimes I do that online, because we cooperate, we test it together, and people directly telling me if they check it out. For now, we do that with Narum probiotics. Uh,
Oh, okay.
and everyone who puts a code Joanna Pilatovich on the Narum website gets a discount of 6% for those Narum probiotics. And I'm using it for 2 years. And I know many of you are using that and telling me exactly what is the impact of it. So everything we do like that, I'm testing on my skin personally.
Oh,
Uh,
that's great.
yeah, and you can reach us about website. Can you, Tanya, say your website? I will link it, but also you can say it. Say
Yep.
it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so my website is fdrwa.com.au. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Mhm.
like
And you
Franklin
are
Delano.
also present on Twitter. You find Tanya on Twitter and LinkedIn.
No, I'm not on Twitter. Sorry. I'm on TikTok.
Okay, it's still connected here, but
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, I do have a Twitter, but I've never, like, I haven't posted there in years.
okay,
Sorry.
we need
Yes.
to connect with Tanya on TikTok. I'm also on TikTok, so find us and look for those videos because they also give a lot of input. And sometimes it's like that when you think of something, is the law of manifesting, and you punch in the YouTube something, and it's coming out exactly the video. Because many people told me that under comment under the video, in the comment section, like, wow, that was exactly, Joanna, what I needed to hear today. So it's amazing. This artificial
Yeah.
intelligence also responds to our thinking, so we can influence artificial intelligence and
Yeah.
algorithms, not only by typing, but sometimes people say already that they thought it, and
Yeah.
the right video came up. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, guys, I think you have it all. Please forward this to anyone who might be interested, and most importantly, that can benefit from it. Be aware out there, and good luck in love life. Thank you, Tanya,
Yes.
so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was lovely to chat to you, and thank you to everyone who's been watching us.
Fantastic. One more last thing. Please, under the video, if you have any comments for Tanya, if you have any questions to Tanya, please write it down. And if you like to see Tanya again, being guest on our channel, let us know, and we will answer your questions under this video. I think I said it all.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much. It was
Okay,
lovely to chat to you.
me
And
too.
hopefully, I will see you soon. Talk to you again.
Let's talk soon. And thank you guys for being present and commenting. That is always inspiring because also we could accommodate that in our